Hi, Andrew. Thanks so much for joining us. We just want to give a couple minutes for folks to um, continue joining before we get started.
Hi, this is Andrew from the EBF. I'm going to go check with Andrew Miller and just make sure he's all set. Oh, I see he's connecting now. Once he's in, I'll pass it off.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks so much for joining us. We just want to give a couple minutes for folks to sign on before we get started.
Andrew, you're muted. Just give it a...
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
There we go. Okay, you look good. I'll hop off.
Thank you. All right, I'm just going to close this door real quick.
Okay, I think we can probably go ahead and get started. And I believe we are recording. I think I saw that start. Um, and then, yeah, we'll record for folks who can't come today. And Andrew, do you have a preference for, questions during or hold questions to the end?
I would say if right now, if you got a question, just holler at me. You know, I come from a big family. I'm used to getting cut off. Just throw it out there. I'm happy to address questions as they come up. And
Okay.
then obviously I'll have time for questions at the end.
All right. Sounds good. Then I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you to Sarah and Jessica for having me. Today, I'm just going to do a brief presentation on basically how to get the most out of your EBF negotiated benefits. There's a lot of information that maybe you don't know, maybe you've heard before, but a lot of my job is I go around, visit different units, and a lot of times when I give people information on their plans, they're a little surprised. So I'm hoping you can come away with this with just a little bit more knowledge on, what your benefits actually are, how to make them go as far as possible, how to have them help you save as much as possible, because that's really the goal at the end of the day. So I'm just gonna, I gotta call on Andy real quick if you're still here. It looks like screen sharing is disabled. And I could do my best to verbalize these slides, but I think the actual show might help a little bit better. So Andy, if you're still here,
What's up?
would you be able to enable screen sharing?
Let me see if it'll let me. Maybe it's in my meeting. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Let's see. Maybe I have to give it to you. Let's see. Screen sharing. Make. Okay, so I changed you so that you're now the host. I think you'll have new
Awesome.
options for screen sharing at the bottom there.
Thanks so much, Andy. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I'll
works
hold
great.
on. I'll hold on and see if once you're sharing. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Look good?
Yeah, good.
All right, awesome. All right, everybody. So, as I said before, this is the focus. We're just trying to help you get the most out of your benefits. We're going to start with, what is the EBF? Who am I? What am I doing here? My name is Andrew Miller. I am your representative for the EBF for Region 5. So I'll have my contact info at the end if you ever have questions. Also, Sarah and Jessica also have my information. I'm happy to help, whether it's my phone number, email, I'm answering members' questions all day, and I'm happy to do it. But the EBF, we are a nonprofit labor trust. And all we do is dental and vision plans for CSEA contracts. That's it. So someone can't come off the street and get one of these plans. The reason you have access to these plans is because they have been negotiated for in your contract. With that being said, that's why I'm so, maybe passionate about if it's been negotiated for, you guys got to use this stuff. We're going to start with dental, then go to vision, then talk about providers and some stuff with our website that might help you. All right. So for the dental plan, for Tompkins County, there are two different plans, and it'll depend on where you work, right? My understanding is the blue collar unit has access to one plan, white collar unit has access to the other plan. You'll see on the left is the Sunrise Dental. This is my understanding that the blue collar unit, this is the one that they have access to, and then the Dutchess Dental plan through the white collar unit. Both plans are pretty similar in how they're actually structured. So here I just kind of try to hit some of the major differences. Except for cleanings and exams, right? Because that's the most important one. Most people will go and get cleanings and exams. But you'll see Dutchess slightly higher annual max there at $3,500 versus $2,850 for the Sunrise plan. And in case you didn't know, the annual max, that just refers to the maximum benefit you can get out of the plan, right? So let's say you get a crown, and a crown is $1,000, right? That's $1,000 against your annual max. There are some features that are outside the annual max, and I'll make sure to note them as we hit them. Speaking of which, cleanings and exams, those 3 you get per year, those are outside those annual maxes. So, the 3 cleanings and exams will not subtract from that total. Next, we have orthodontics. Orthodontics are covered under both plans. The difference is for Dutchess, we have adult orthodontia also covered. This is another one of those things that is outside the annual max. I know a common question I get when I go to groups and I present is, hey, you're saying orthodontia is covered, but, I only have a $2,850 annual max. Is that going to tap out as soon as my kid gets orthodontia? The answer is no. This is a totally separate benefit, and it will not deduct from that number. Next, we got implant coverage. These are also outside the annual max. Reason being is implants are very pricey. Even if they were to be covered in full, you'd probably tap out the max for one implant. So instead, we have these allowances that are towards the implants that won't, take away from your annual max as soon as you need an implant. It's $1,000 a year. $1,000 you can use twice a year for Sunrise, $1,200 for Dutchess that you can also use twice a year. And that'll reset on January 1. Last bullet here, for both of our plans, and this is also true for the vision plan, all dependents are covered under the age of 26, much like health insurance. Now, orthodontia, I touched on it briefly. Probably the next most common question I get is, well, one is all of it's covered, and the answer is yes. And two is, Invisalign, like how does this all work? Basically how orthodontia works, and you'll be able to see this in the plan books that we distribute later. It's broken down into phases, right? So you have coverage for, any work that needs to be done beforehand, the actual application of the braces, and then those monthly visits that you have to do, get the adjustments. When I was a kid, I'd always get like the bright orange bands. Looking back on the pictures, brutal. I don't know why I did that, but there's 24 months worth of coverage. So that's 2 years, and that's about the average for most children. So as long as you're staying within that 2 years and you're using a participating provider, they're going to accept our payments as payment in full, meaning no out-of-pocket costs for you. For Dutchess, we do have the added benefit of adult orthodontia. A lot of my Dutchess groups, they ask me about Invisalign. Once again, you find somebody in network, you should be good to go. If you go out of network, they're still going to accept our payments, but the only difference is they're going to charge you more, and you're going to have to pay that difference. So later on, I'm going to talk about providers, how to find them, but that's something to keep in mind when I'm talking about a lot of these benefits is that, there's a trade-off to be made with, do I stay in network and have no money out of pocket, or do I want to go out of network? I can still use my benefit, but then I'm at the risk of spending money out of pocket. And for something like orthodontia, it's basically guaranteed. Next, for implants, just a little bit on, what is an implant? It's actually like a surgical, like metal root that gets put in your mouth. There's a little abutment and a crown that goes right on top. So in context of your EBF plan, crowns are covered in full, right? Once again, at a participating provider. So if you go to get an implant, the cost of the crown will be fully covered. And then for the abutment, we have the $250 allowance. And then for the actual implant, it's the $1,000. This is both the Sunrise and the Dutchess plan have this benefit. And once more, I just want to harp on it. If you're going to someone in network, you do not have to worry about the crown. That's going to be covered in full. Out of network, you might have to pay out of pocket for the crown. But these, none of this is going to touch your annual max except for the crown, right? The abutment and the implant, you have the allowance. You should be able to get some more work done without, tapping out that annual max. Just a quick overview here. Your annual max can vary. Make sure that you know what you have. So for my Sunrise people, make sure you know that 2850 number. For my Dutchess people, make sure you remember the 3500 number. And, if you ever have a question of that, you can go on our website. You can download all of your past EOBs, explanation of benefits, basically a summary of any benefits that have been, executed, and see what you have left. I know a lot of people, what they'll do is if you need some major work done, maybe you're like me, out of COVID, I kind of stopped going to the dentist for a while. Most people didn't go anywhere. Neither did I. And, coming out of COVID, I was like, oh man, I got some work I need to get done. This is going to get pricey. So what I did and what I advise people to do is sometimes it makes sense to, not sandwich, but get some work done at the end of the year, get your max close to zero. And then on January 1, it resets. So then you can get the rest of the work done. So, you can kind of hug that, year end, beginning of the new year to maximize your benefit. You'll see in the plan books, all of the covered services are summarized right there. The last thing on here that is pretty important is predeterminations. I tell people anytime you get anything that's going to be more than 500, honestly, I would even do more than like 200 or 300 just to be safe. You can request a predetermination. And what that is just the dentist will send us basically a mock claim. We'll process it, and you can see, all right, so this is what the dentist is charging. This is what my insurance is going to cover. And, maybe you're out of network or it's for a non-covered service. Then you'd have, okay, this is what I should expect to pay out of pocket. So that way you're not surprised. I know some other feedback I get is sometimes members do go out of network, sometimes without even realizing it. And then they get something done like a crown. They're like, hey, like, why am I paying this out of pocket? I didn't expect this. Well, first off, you probably want to use someone in network to have that guarantee. But even if you know it's out of network, it's nice to know how much you're going to be expected to pay at the end. All right, so that was briefly touching on dental. One thing that I don't have a slide for that I did want to mention, I believe there's another slide at the end, but I think it's important now, is the way the whole plan works is it's based on a schedule of allowances. And what that means is you'll see in the plan book, there are set amounts that we pay for every procedure, right? I keep harping on providers because I think it's really important. But if you are using an in-network provider, they accept our payments from that schedule of allowances as payment in full. So that's where you get that guarantee of no money out of pocket, no copays, no deductible. So if you're going out of network, they're going to look at that schedule. They're going to still accept that. And that's when you have to pay the difference. All right, now moving on to vision. Vision's a little bit easier considering both units have the same plan, the Platinum 12 Vision plan. It's a great plan. It covers a lot. I am going to start with contacts real quick because every year, calendar year, you get an exam and a pair of glasses. You can also do contacts in lieu of glasses. Now for contacts, you get the initial supply. What that means can mean something different depending on the brand and the type of contact you have. All right, for non-planned contacts, something not covered, we will pay $125 towards that. But for my contact people, I would definitely recommend letting your eye doctor know, hey, I want to stay within my plan as much as possible. I want to get as much as I can. Because sometimes their first recommendation isn't that. And sometimes there's something else that, might fit the plan a little bit better. But for the actual glasses, lens types that are covered, single, bifocal, trifocal, standard, and premium progressive lenses, all covered in full. Tinting is covered. Scratch proofing is covered. A lot of people don't know about those two. I always try to tell groups too, like, hey, if you're good about keeping your glasses, you don't break them, you don't lose them. Maybe one year do a standard pair. Next year, get one that's tinted. It's basically going to be like prescription sunglasses. That might be nice for driving, when you're outside. And these are the type of things you can really only know or use unless you know them. For lens types, we have plastic, polycarbonate, and glass. And you'll see there's a line here about the fixed copays for upgrades. I have a separate slide on that. But maybe I'll save that for later. I don't want to confuse anybody yet. So with vision, the idea is you should be able to go in and out, no money out of pocket. At a provider, we have all those covered lens types. This has the widest frame selection of any of our plans, and I'm going to talk about frames later. I think it's actually the next slide. But sometimes I'll go to units and members will come up to me and say, hey, you told me it would be no money out of pocket. I'd pay $75 for my glasses. What happened? So first thing I'll ask is, all right, what did you get? Because you see this line, adding any extra options or choosing designer frames. That's also a big one. I was like, well, did you pick a frame in the collection? That'll affect whether or not you had to pay out of pocket. But a lot of times it ends up, oh yeah, I got polarization on my glasses. Well, polarization is a $75 copay, and you will see that from the premium menu that I'll show later. So just something to keep in mind. Now for frames, it is very simple to see what frames are in collection. If you're like me, you like to plan, you can just go right on the website. So you're going to go to Davis Vision's website, and you're going to use your EBF ID number to create an account. That's just the number that's right on your ID card. Sign in. You're going to look for that exclusive collection section right there. You can't miss it. That's going to show all the different, maybe if you have dependents, you'll have to pick who it's for, but then you'll get to see all the different frame options, right? And then you can request to have those at your provider's office. So you can go ahead of time, kind of pick out what you want beforehand. If you'd rather not do, most vision offices will have like a wall with some like color coded system. Be like, all right, you can pick any of the blues, the reds, something like that. All right, now these are the fixed copay lens options I'm just letting you know about. This is another example of something you can't really use unless you know about it. We got UV coating, high index lenses, polarized lenses, various levels of progressive lenses, anti-reflective coating, right? The photosensitive lenses, those are the transition ones. I'm just going to point out two of my favorites real quick. One, ultraviolet coating. It's a great benefit. It's the fixed copay for that's like $12, right? And then you can get a nice UV coating, help protect your eyes. The other one I really like is the polarized lenses. Those are great for driving. They help reduce glare. I like them for fishing too. And it's about $75. So, assuming that you pick a frame that's in collection and that's all you add, that's not too bad for like a nice high-end pair of polarized lenses. But definitely something to look at. This will be in the plan book as well. It's its own section, and it has all of the monetary amounts for what the fixed copays are. All right, now we're going to go on to providers. You've heard me say it a million times. You're probably annoyed by it now, but it is important to find a provider if you want to maximize your benefit, which is what this is all about. Once again, providers accept our entire schedule of allowances as payment in full for covered services. So until you tap out that annual max for dental, they're going to keep accepting what we pay, right? It is quite the advantage. That even goes for specialists too, right? So like an orthodontist, an endodontist, like a root canal, periodontist, if you have one that's in network, they will accept our payments as payment in full. Good examples. One of my coworkers, she needed a root canal. We were based in Albany, and she had to drive to Poughkeepsie for it. But the gas for Poughkeepsie back was way less than the savings she got by picking someone in network. So sometimes it pays to broaden that search range a little bit. Speaking of the search range, it's very easy to find your providers. Oh, this is just one more slide here. About 70% of our members use in-network providers, which is great. Like I said earlier, non-providers, they don't accept the whole schedule of allowances, and they will charge you the difference. All right, how do I find providers? You go to our website, which is CSEAEBF.com. This is what it looks like. And you will see a provider search tool right there. You can't miss it. You'll click on that. It'll say dental or vision. You'll click on whichever one you're looking for. And then my recommendation to you, you can go by city, you can go by county. The name search, I think you have to get it perfect to how we have it in the system. So if there's a period that you add that's not in our system, it won't show up. It's not like a Google. So I really recommend doing the zip code search. It's so simple. You just type in your zip code. You set a radius, 5, 10, 20, 50 miles, 100 if you're really feeling it. But most people can find something within, 10 to 20. And it'll pull through all of the providers, specialists. It'll have their address, maybe some contact information for you. And we've been getting great feedback on that. I really recommend the zip code search. Now, you can be thinking to yourself, Andrew, my provider's not participating. Is there anything we can do? And the only thing we can really do is we do have these dental canvassing cards. And this is just for dental. What these are is, you fill it out with your provider's info. If you need any, please ask, maybe Sarah or Jessica. They can reach out to me. I'll supply them with some. And the idea with these is sometimes we don't know about providers, or sometimes providers don't know that there are that many CSEA members with these plans in the area. They receive a few of these. We reach out to them. Sometimes that's all it takes to add them. Our provider list, it basically changes month to month. We're always trying to get more, especially in this region. So this is something, if you and a few of your coworkers even go to the same person, it might be a good idea to fill out a few of these. And one other thing I just wanted to add really quick on vision specifically, because I know this is just a dental thing. For vision, let's say you have a guy you've been going to for years, right? Unfortunately, they're not in network. Vision is a little unique in that what you can do is called splitting the benefit. You can go to their office, get your exam, get your prescription, but then you take that prescription and then you get the glasses done at someplace in network. Because when you're looking at vision care, the exam's not very expensive. The glasses can be $300-$400, right? So that way you're able to, I guess, be a little bit in the middle. You'll have to pay for the exam, but then you'll get those glasses hopefully for nothing, unless you got like a premium upgrade. And that's just something that's very unique to Vision. All right. So the member portal. The member portal is super important, especially recently. For those of you who have been EBF members for some time, you probably have your EBF card. It's printed on card stock. It's basically just your name with your EBF ID number. Well, recently we have been having some supply issues with our supplier, and they just don't have the card stock anymore. So in the interim, the best thing to do is, let's say you're new, or let's say you lose your card. Unfortunately, we just physically can't get new cards to you right now until that issue is resolved. But what you can do is go to our member portal. It takes like 60 seconds to make an account. And then right on the portal, you can view and print your EBF ID cards, right? There's other things you can do as well. If you move, that's actually super important. You can update your address. That's actually really important for like retiring, for us to send you COBRA notifications. Let's say, what? I can't remember. What was my annual max? Your plan brochure will be right on there. Annual max is right there. There are various forms on there as well. Hopefully you don't have to do too much of that, because that probably means we're asking some questions about just random verification stuff. But really what you'll use it the most for is the EBF ID cards and this last note, the dental EOBs. And that's what I was mentioning earlier for, any predeterminations, or after work has already been rendered, you can see that full explanation of the benefit. And you can almost calculate your annual max from there. If you got 3,500, you can kind of calculate all those totals to see what you have left. And once more, that's right on our website. You can't miss it. It's right there. I highly recommend this for people, especially with this supply issue we've been having with the cards. This is going to be your best way. My last tip with the cards, and this is something I've done because I also have these plans. I just went onto the member portal, logged right in, pulled up the digital card, and instead of printing it, so I know some members do like to print and they'll like laminate it. I just took a screenshot because for both dental and vision, all they need is that ID number. So I just have it in my photos, and anytime I go to the dentist, I just kind of show them my phone, and all the info is right there already. It just makes it very convenient because I'm never going to go anywhere without my phone. So hopefully maybe that could be something that will be helpful to you. Last thing here is a bit of a plug. We're on all the social medias. We got Twitter, although we don't really use the Twitter that much. Definitely Facebook, definitely Instagram. Highly recommend giving us a follow. We do giveaways, reminders, and the occasional funny post there. I definitely recommend giving us a follow, especially if you want to win some free stuff. They're doing a good job with the socials. All right, and that, I guess, concludes the presentation. I'll open it up for if anybody does have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. If you want me, maybe there's something that you wanted me to mention that I didn't get a chance to mention, please let me know. More than happy to, clarify. And I will turn this off if I can figure out how. How do I stop sharing the screen? That's not it.
You already stopped sharing it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I forgot I had it set just to that one window. So when I closed it out, it stopped. So any questions, any comments, or are we crystal clear?
And also, if anyone thinks of anything later, feel free to email benefits or give Jess or I a call. And we do have one question from Donna about dental vision after retirement.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So what kind of dental vision can you get after you retire? So what is available in retirement? It's a great question. So as of right now, let me just double check, make sure I'm getting you the most up-to-date info. So for the blue collar unit for dental, you do have the option to, let me just double check the white collar unit. Okay. So for the blue collar unit for dental, when you retire, you'll be offered COBRA or access to our retiree plan. And that's because we have a retiree MOA on file. This kind of goes back to us being, a nonprofit labor trust. We need to have, some documentation in the contract to be able to offer the retiree plans. One of the rules with retirement, as well as you need to be enrolled at the time of retirement. But for any member, for dental and vision, you will be offered COBRA. I believe you have 60 or 90 days to, let me double check that. I believe it's 60 days to elect. And all you really need to do for COBRA is just retire. What happens is your employer will send us notice of your retirement, and then we will mail out the package with all of your different options. When it comes to like the different specifics, rates, what's covered, I would recommend giving us a call, and I direct that to the retiree department because it can get pretty complicated. Just unit to unit, it can vary. But when it comes to retirement, once again, all you have to really worry about is just making it there and make sure that your address is up to date. Because occasionally, and I hate to see this happen, someone will retire and then, they're going to peace out to Florida. And if they don't let their employer know, if they don't update the portal, we have no way to get them their COBRA information. So if you're approaching retirement, that'd be the one thing I'd look at is, let me just make sure that my address is up to date. And when I retire, you got to keep an eye out in the mail for that package from us. It's not really a package, just like an envelope with all the information. Because another thing that'll happen occasionally is, people just throw it out thinking we're trying to sell them something, but no, this is your actual COBRA information that you need to enroll. Any other questions about that, or any other new questions? All right. Well, once again, if anything pops up later that you haven't thought about, please feel free to reach out to me. My email, if you want to write it down here, I'll drop it in the chat really quick. Miller@csea.ebf.org. You know what? Let me, so it looks like I'm doing a direct chat and not a group chat. Here we go. Please feel free to reach out to me with any other questions. Something comes up, I'm happy to help. And once again, thanks to Sarah and Jess for having me today. And hopefully I'll see you guys at the benefit fair.
Thanks so much, Andrew.
Thank you.
Happy to be here. I'll send you the recording hopefully sometime today or tomorrow, Sarah.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your day.